This week, Facebook reached a milestone when the website surpassed 500 million users. That is a lot of networking. But recent events have cast doubt on the safety of these types of sites, or specifically what we may be putting ourselves out there for. We're talking this morning with our life coach, Pat Barone of Catalyst Coaching. Thanks so much for joining us, Pat. Appreciate it. There are always events that happen as a result of what is posted on Facebook or some of these other social media sites. And the most recent and kind of what prompted you to want to talk about this was a murder-suicide.
Right. And it just happened because a woman changed her relationship status and posted some personal photos of a weekend that she had with her new boyfriend. And her ex-husband did not react to that well.
Obviously.
And it ended up in a tragedy. So it's important, I think, that we start to take a step back and look at this, because it became a phenomenon without us really being conscious of what we were doing with it.
And obviously a lot of people using this now, posting a lot of very personal information. And you say, you know, one of the most important things we can do before we either friend people or put information out there is really look at why we're there in the first place.
Yes, if we look at this from a coaching perspective, you want to establish your intent first. Why are you there? What do you want to do? If you're looking to build your career and your presence in your career, well, then you're going to be very specific about the friends that you have on the site. Then you're going to want to take it a step further. You're going to want to make sure that you have a criteria for what a friend is. Even if you are doing it for purely social reasons, you may want to limit friends to people that you really know and trust.
Facebook fatigue is getting to be actually a common buzzword, and I know I personally have backed way off of it, and I have typically only friended people that I know, which is not something most of my colleagues out there do, at least here. But
it really does overtake your life, and know that the more friends you have, the more time it's going to take.
Exactly.
It becomes quite an ordeal to even get through the
So
posts.
really focus on what you want that site to be.
Your criteria and your intent. For instance, if you want to connect with family and friends, definitely put your family and friends on there, and you can post more personal things, but make sure there's no one on there that might use that information in a negative way.
When you say use different social networks for different intents,
well, say that you do want to build career presence. You might want to use a social network like LinkedIn for that. Exactly. And then you have your friends and family on Facebook. You can separate them.
Do you find, users, and are you finding that people aren't typically making those distinctions?
I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I think there's not an intent behind it. It's just, oh, this is fun. And it is. It's fun, and you get to know things. But you have to look at every single thing that you post as a great big headline taken out in a newspaper.
Okay. Safety precautions. Never post a geographical location, which is getting interesting. I'm going to read through these. Never post personal pictures. Consider omitting your relationship status and birthday. And imagine the worst with every tweet and entry. Talk about what you most want people to take away from this.
Well, the thing about imagining the worst is, you know, ask yourself a few questions. Do I want everyone to have access to this at some point? And how might somebody else respond to it? You know, you can put out something that's quite career-oriented, but if you have some friends who are also in your database there, they might respond in a way that would put you in a negative light and not even intend it.
Right.
So it's a time to, I think, take a step back and think about what you're doing with it.
All right, Pat, thank you. Great advice and some food for thought, and we'll talk to you again in a few weeks. If you have a question for Pat, send it to us, cwild@NBC15.com. We can ask it on the air, and we'll be right back.